Let me at him!
Well, there it is. Hello, welcome to a map review of File Reef by Chris Fox. He says to me in his email, "Thanks for getting back to me so quickly. I thoroughly enjoy watching your 4 vs 4 random team games and spent the last few nights watching on a 4 vs 4 or working rather, sorry, on a 4 vs 4 or 2 vs 2 vs 2 vs 2. There's got to be an easy way to say that. Map. Let me know what you think. Thanks very much, Clingy Table," which is his nick. So, File Reef, if we look at the map description, is ally with a partner to defeat your enemies. Many dangers lurk throughout the reef. And I believe we are in the expansion, yes. And obviously you got the 2 vs 2 vs 2 vs 2 or 4 vs 4. So those are the rules. I can actually give a little bit more detail because I don't normally go into this part. But the playable is 136 times 136 for those that are curious, which is a good size for what the map is trying to do. As you can basically tell by the mini-map, it's quite straightforward and clear as to what you're looking at, who's where and what's going on the map. Although, as I start to show you more of the map, you'll get more of an idea as to the levels of somewhat simple depth, if that's such a thing, that this map currently has. It's got an interesting mechanic, in my opinion, that might be a little biased towards human or certain races that can destroy trees with ease. But we'll see. So let's view the entire map, shall we? This is going to lag the hell out of everything, so apologies for that. Okay, so red, blue. So these are your 2 vs 2 vs 2 spots. Or if you had 4 vs 4, I assume it would just be like, you know, top versus bottom or left versus right. I'm not entirely sure how it'll spawn, but either it is top versus bottom or left versus right, it works either way because of the way the map is designed. That's perfectly fine. It's not going to be too biased if it's a 4 vs 4 or 2 vs 2 vs 2. But I think you do suggest that you ally up with a partner and go for it. I think this will work very well for either, to be quite frank with you. But perhaps a little more for 2 vs 2 vs 2 versus 2. Because it really feels like the players are super connected, as you can see. So let's just assume that this is our starting positions here. So I'm going to be green this time. And your ally is basically right next to you. Like, you're practically hugging right at the start. So what's your creep camp like? At your main base, that's if one of the players do not spawn or this is played in a, I don't know, with 6 players or 7 players or whatever. If this was a true free-for-all map, for example, these guys would spawn. And they're pretty tough. So, player spots. Oh, I see, you've got some weird items, so it's going to be a bit harder for me to check what that is, but I guess that kind of works. So, a level 6 permanent item from these lads, which is very powerful indeed, but they are going to be incredibly rare. Level 2 charged, so I can assume that's, well, that is what it is, you know, level 2 power-up item. Okay, that wasn't. I was thinking of an actual charged item, which is these. So, yeah, that's... I've got to try to remember that then. Those are your level 2 charged items. Sentry wards, Wand of Illusion, all that kind of stuff. But this is actually power-up item. Is level 2 charge. Okay. So that's perfectly fine for what it is. Level 26, very powerful, but it gives you access to a gold mine if one of these players wasn't here and you're playing this in a true free-for-all star. To be fair, if you were playing this, like, it doesn't suggest it, but if you were playing this in proper free-for-all where you were on your own and you had these 2 bases like left alone and the rest of you spawned on the other side of the map, if you got access to this, you are powerful enough to take these guys down. You get this gold mine, then you get this gold mine right next to it. You got a nice little fortress here. But that is deceptive because if you notice here, these trees are destroyable, destructible, and if you do destroy them, then people can access your base via the ramp over here instead of going through the natural entrance. So this is what I'm going on about. If you're able to destroy trees very easily, such as the Keeper of the Grove or Flame Strike with the Blood Mage, you'll be able to harass quite nicely, I think. There's a lot of potential for it. And the map basically goes along that mechanic quite strongly. So the nearby creep camp, which both players would assumably work together to try to do near the start, because it does get you access to a merc camp as well, which is the Sunken Ruins one. I think that's quite awesome, the Sunken Ruins one, so I'm going to find it. Here we go. Sunken Ruins drops these creeps. The Murgle Snarecaster, the Macross Snapper. So that's like a tanky type lobster. The Snarecaster is basically the guy that casts slow and abolish magic, and is awesome. You should basically try to pick him up every time you can. The Macross Deepseer is the dude which basically spawns all the little prawns as well as entangles. Sexy Time likes to get it a lot because it's fairly damn good, to be honest. It's incredibly expensive, but if you keep him alive, he's a pretty damn useful unit. But he's a little vulnerable. He's like 480 health. And Giant Sea Turtle is just kind of like this okay ranged unit that is not really that tanky, despite looking like he is tanky. Anyway, this creek camp we are looking at has 10 levels in total, which is actually pretty low. And if you ever do create camps, I would say always aim them to be looking towards the middle of the map. So these, for example, if I highlight these, hold left control and then left click towards the middle of the map, they'll now position their view towards the middle of the map, and it looks a bit more like they're actually properly there, whereas they're just kind of like wandering or just standing around not sure what they're doing. Level 4 charged. This is an actual level 4 charged item, so that's pretty powerful. That's like Book of the Dead and all that. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, that. Level 4 charged. Let's go. Yeah, healing wards. So powerful stuff to start off with at the start. Get you going. Healing wards can allow you to creep more powerful stuff. And this little guy is going to drop a level 1 charged. So what's your level 1 charged then? Is that just a level 1 power-up item? Yes, it is. Okay. So that's perfectly fine, that creek camp. Could be a little tougher, I think, but to be fair, the rock golem is annoying, so you could still make that a little bit tougher. Anyway, you've got a very light creek camp after this. 2 levels in total, so basically nothing. And this guy drops player spots. What the hell is player spots? Oh. Oh. Well, this little guy drops a level 6 permanent item, apparently, according to this. Player spots. Yeah. So if you kill this 240 health level 1 Murgle Cliff Runner, you're going to get a level 6 permanent item. There could be a problem with that. Don't tell me he drops it as well. Okay, potion and wands for this one nearby, and potions and wands. So let's have a look and see what potions and wands are. Level 2 charged item, so that's again your sort of sentry ward, that kind of thing. Wand of illusion, wand of lightning shield, light stuff to work with, fun for early harass, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's fine. That's what that should drop. There's no way this guy should drop what he does drop. So let's give him something else instead, like potion and wand. What was the potion and wand one again? Level 2 charged item. Oh, yeah. It's too easy to kill, so let's just make the nearest one just a crappy power-up type item. So level 2 charge is the power-up item. So he's going to drop the level 2 charged. I assume that you're going to probably have made the same mistake with all of them.
Righto.
Level 1 charged. Okay, no you haven't. So that's just that one there for some reason. Level 1 charge. Level 1 charge. Okay, so let's pull this over here and change you to level 1 charge since that's what you wanted. That's perfectly fine. As long as it's not a level 6 permanent item. Okay, so there's your starting bases. You get access towards them, or you can come through this very difficult access point that gets to a very tough sort of rigid ramp where you can get super screwed by players just having archers here or towers. So it's going to be pretty hard to penetrate people's bases unless you have a way to get through the trees. As well as the entrance point is a little narrow. So getting your units inside of here is going to be a little bit difficult. So bear in mind that if you want to be aggressive, you're probably going to pay a heavy price. However, if you want to expand, the players are going to be having to take super risky expansions. I don't know how Undead are going to maintain an expansion with a really open... You have to spend a lot of money on a necropolis and towers, and then you'd be really set, but up until that point it'd be difficult. Level 3 permanent item. I'm going to assume that is what I think it is, but let's always double check. Level 3 permanent item, so that's claws of attack plus 9, that kind of stuff. It's always fun to actually like refresh my memory. Yeah. Circlet of Nobility, Gloves of Haste. That's level 2, sorry. Claws of Attack plus 9 bits of speed. And then the Pendants of Health and Mana. And then the crappy Ring of Protection. So this creep camp in total is 11, which is easy enough to do. You could probably send Militia over to do this. I think Militia could come through here, get a good few whacks in it before they start to run out, so it's not too far away. If I was playing here, I'd almost be tempted to destroy my own trees just so I could get access, which is where I think, again, Human and Night Elf might have an advantage, if they can destroy their own trees, and then they've got an easy access point to their expansion, because otherwise it's quite tricky to get to it. It does leave your base a little bit vulnerable, but being able to access your expansion is pretty important. By the way, one thing you'll notice in here is if you see these shadows here, if you're making a map, what you need to do is you need to calculate shadows. So you go to File, Calculate Shadows, and Save Map. And that will get rid of those shadows. Because that's when you're moving trees and doodads and whatnot around. It might take a while, but hopefully not too long. Because there's probably a fair few shadows. It's not on this side, but it's like the whole map. Any changes you've made, you know, the map needs to take that into account when you properly refresh it. And this is a way to properly refresh it. So I think 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2 is probably the best way to go on this map. 4 versus 4 will also work, but we'll stick with the 2 versus 2 kind of mantra here. You got your minimal creeps outside of the main bases, as well as that mercenary camp, which is actually a really awesome kind of shop to have nearby the players, because just in case you know you're low on units or you can't pump out units fast enough and you're under attack, you've got this mercenary camp you can easily access for those last, you know, ditch attempt to stop the enemy from basically destroying you by getting yourself that Deep Seer or that Murgle Snarecaster. That could help out a lot. This is taking a little bit longer than I was hoping, but we're almost there. And I believe there is no laboratory on this map according to the mail, but I'll double check on all of that. And we're almost done. There should be a couple of shops though. I would really hope there is a shop or two on this map. That's really important. But you can sort of see you've got your merc kind of camps in the corners, probably shops here and here, and then fountains of health and mana in the middle. And there's a couple of shops here, or let's check what that is. Oh, that's taverns. Taverns. Oh wow, we'll have to get round to that. But anyway, if you look at the changes, you no longer have those shadows there. They're all gone, and it's kind of refreshed the map. So there's obviously quite a few changes to be made by that in itself, so I'll just quickly give it another save. And there we are. We're definitely done with the saves. So you've got the few little creeps outside your base, which is fine. Gives you something to do. Creep away, get some nice little items. Those sentry wards that can keep an eye on the enemy coming to harass you. And let's say you're going to take the outside perimeter of the map. You're going to run into these, which are heavily guarded by, well, I say heavily guarded, it's at least tier 2 guarded, because you need a lot of ranged units to take this guy down. Level 6 Drake, which isn't too easy to take on, but doable if you had like Archmage and a few Riflemen or something like that. You could quite easily do it because of Water Elementals. And you get access to the Green Dragon Roost, which is probably pretty good. Very good in the late game, and the fact that you've got 2 of them might be a little bit broken. I'm always skeptical about having more than 1 Dragon Roost. I'm okay with having 1 Dragon Roost on the map, but bear in mind that those dragons are insane value for money. Like, they are hyper frostworms, basically. They are killable. Like, if someone goes straight up mass gyros, you can't do much about it. But that person has to dedicate their entire army to gyros just to kind of stop you. So bear that in mind. And then, yeah, you go back to your expansion. So you can easily access an enemy expansion, to be honest. It's not too far to travel before you get to an enemy expansion. And then you have these expansions in the middle section. So you've got one here, so one on the left side and the top, right side. And then you've got one at the top and one at the bottom as well. The top and bottom one look a little bit more different. So let's have a look at the top one first of all. It's far more spacious. It looks like it's more dedicated to your area, so if you spawned here, this is pretty much your expansion. I'd say it's harder for Red to hold on to this expansion simply because the trees are on the right hand side. But if Red did get this expansion, he can put towers here, which would be an absolute nightmare for this player as he tries to roll down here. So my biggest concern with this map is these kind of narrow pathways, I think you really need to work on making those thicker. So what you could do is simply just shift this over to like here, and then you got way more space for players to run through, or if there's a bunch of towers there, at least hug the corner as they go through. Or you could just minimize this a little bit and chop this off and make this a little bit more circular instead of like this giant block, which works, but it doesn't work enough because you've got this narrow pathway, which is going to be a nightmare for orcs. I don't like that at all. But anyway, let's have a look at these creeps. 14 in total, and this little fella here is looking the wrong way. Level 4 permanent item. That's pretty damn good, and he's not hard to kill, so it'd be really good for a Blade Master to go for. I think that's your aura type of items. No, I'm going to say that's level 3. There you go. So you got your powerful +6 items, or auras, generally speaking, or Soapy Mask. In fact, that's just insane stuff. And this guy, 675 health. He's not super easy to kill, to be honest. But that's a very powerful item. So you might want to put some more annoying creeps. So, I don't know, these guys can purge. They can purge. So that's something. But I would probably put creeps that could slow as well. And I'm not sure if any of these creeps slow. I know they're Murgles, and I know they're player 1, so that doesn't work. But I honestly think if you're going to drop something like a level 4 permanent item, you need to have some pretty damn annoying creeps. And they need to always look towards the middle of the map, as mentioned earlier. That way, if you are going for this guy, you're going to take some punishment by being slow to high hell. But yeah, I would definitely consider, like, I'm not going to keep this change. Plus it doesn't like me doing that. Okay, I've got to work on that. I can't remember what I need to do to fix that. Anyway, you get the idea. That needs to be like that, and the gold mine here, you need to have this much more breathing space. But I'm not going to keep that change. I'm just going to keep it as it is, because there's going to be too many little changes for me to make, which will just take far too long. But that's up to you to do yourself. And again, this is a little bit narrow, but this isn't so bad because it's entering the middle of the map from this position. But I don't like it on the right-hand side for some reason. The shop, easy to access. Level 13 creeps, that's fine. Level 7 Shadowcaster is not an easy creep. 1000 health. So what's he going to drop? He's going to drop a level 6 permanent item. You're very generous, I gotta say. We'll leave that as it is because he is a level 7 creep, but I'm not sure if he's well suited to that position. And the shop is definitely valuable in itself. But you're a little bit too heavy on the... you know, you could cut down the trees a little bit and just have the shop dedicated for what it's supposed to be. And give the players way more space to get in towards the middle. That's what I would suggest. Give the players more space and they'll enjoy that, I would say. Anyway, on this left hand side you've got this interesting tree complex here. So that those trees provide you know, wood supply for players that do build an expansion down here. Versus these creeps that are level 14 in total and drop a level 4 permanent item. You've got some really powerful items on this map, which isn't a bad thing, because again, if you're going to be treating it as a free-for-all, I think that's kind of okay in those circumstances. Let's have a look over here. The laboratory do exist, actually. You have got laboratories, and that's great. Level 3 charge, that's fine. That's a bit more acceptable. That's like lower tier. Level 8, though, is a little bit low for a level 3 item, I would say. You probably just want to bump it up a little bit more with more creeps. But hang on a second, I just realised I made that change. I'll have to make the change down here as well for this. There you go. So if I make any changes like that, I've got to sort of make it symmetrical. Otherwise it's going to be pretty imbalanced. So the expansion is pretty dedicated if you're taking it over here. This is a very narrow pathway again, just too damn narrow. Like, you probably fit a couple of units in there at best. But once you get up here, you've got access to put towers and all of that. Siege will be very strong in this map, I think. It'll be slow moving, but the map kind of allows siege to exist, except air could be even more dominant, as it normally is in these kind of maps, because it can bypass all these trees, as well as, you know, all the cliffs and ramps. So air in siege, but air trumps siege, eventually. So that's something to consider. I don't mind this though. Like, I don't mind the idea of these trees, because we're going to get towards the middle in a moment, as I think I've covered all of the creeps pretty much surrounding all the positions. I believe that is it. So you've got a decent chunk of creeps, a lot for players to do, and they're bound to bump into each other quite frequently. Well, this starting position is way better than this one. You need to be a lot more symmetrical with your starting positions, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say these guys get kind of screwed. This is very narrow, although actually that might be a good thing for them, because it's a lot more defensive. But this is much more what I'm talking about. Look at that. That feels much more like a breath of fresh air. And even then I would destroy like these trees. So you got a much bigger entrance towards this. And then these trees are different for some reason. You've got a bunch of trees here, which I don't think you have a similar pattern over here. So your map isn't incredibly symmetrical, which isn't the worst thing. It's not the biggest problem, but you've got to bear that in mind, that I think it should be as close to symmetrical as possible, whilst giving the illusion that it isn't, whereas this genuinely isn't. But yeah, anyway, ignoring that little thing, nice bunch of trees. The creeps look fine. I don't mind those trees there, kind of, if you had that for all the players. So you almost had like these kind of bunch of trees in the middle, and that needs to be accessible. That way players could either go around here or around here. So they are funneling into here. They might be able to block players defending from here with armies around here. It makes it harder for people to defend their expansions. That makes the expansions even more vulnerable in a way. And also bear in mind that if you are going to put these trees that are blocking the access to your main base, it again needs to be symmetrical. So for example, you look over here. How thick are the trees? One force of nature could destroy that. Force of nature is like that range, like that, or flame strike, except it's not a square, it's a circle. And you've only got 2 to 3 trees guarding here, whereas down here you've got, that would take 2 flame strikes at least, and 2 to 3 level 1 force of natures to get through there. So it needs to be symmetrical. And this one you're missing a bunch of trees here, but you can go there. So that almost works. You could have a bunch of trees and then this one little pathway where there's only 2 trees blocking it. So that way one flame strike will do the trick. And it kind of gives you this little narrow pathway in and out of the base. So that could work. Think of those kind of things. There's different ways. You can either just do it where it's 2 trees thick all the way along, or 2 trees thick in one specific area that could be flame striked, whereas the rest is thick. So think about those kind of things. Anyway, I like the doodads to some degree, like the sunken ships and stuff like that. It gives it a bit of character. You got the statues, sunken ships again. This is nice. You kind of got this walled in area that gives these creeks a little bit of life. So let's actually have a look at the creeks on the side. Didn't actually check these sea turtles in the middle, so let's have a look at the sea turtles. Level 2 with level 1 charge, so that's pretty weak, but that's fine because they're very easy to kill for the most part. And then on the sides, you've got level 5 charged item, very powerful item indeed. But 900 health, so it's kind of okay. Level 15 in total, the creek camp. Again, they don't all have to face the middle. So if they're in this position and their backs are to the wall, I would have them positioning facing this way, not like that, because that would look stupid if they're looking towards the middle of the map. So if you've got creeps in the middle with their backs to the wall, have them looking out towards the players. Basically have them facing the players, wherever the players are coming from. So the players are going to be coming from this direction, have them face there. Again, players would come from this direction, have them face here. So they're waiting for the players almost. So they're fine, those creeps. And then you've got this middle section which is accessible once again with Flame Strike, or Keep at the Grove, Force of Nature, or Warden with Blink if you can get access to Fission. So quite difficult to get through, probably needs a couple of Flame Strikes unless it's a level 2 Flame Strike that is positioned perfectly, and even then I'm not sure if you could do that. But if you do get access to the middle, you're going to have to work your way through 36 levels of creeps, which are basically camping Fountain of Health and Mana. And there's ramps. And there's very little space for you to get up here and share this space with them comfortably. So you'd have to pull them back, pretty much. And if you do that, it's going to be kind of obvious you're doing that because you're very close to any of the other players. So it's going to be really difficult to do this middle area, which isn't a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because it's going to be a lot more entertaining. It means it's going to be really highly contested. My biggest concern is, again, air. Air is such a cheat in Warcraft 3. I think it genuinely is. I think air is a little bit too strong in general. I mean, it is easily countered by certain ground units, but at the same time, once you get it up to a certain stack and in team games, air just gets well and truly out of control. Trust me, I know. So, these guys, they're going to... Well, I was going to say the little one, but he's level 6 with 1,000 health, so he's not even that little. Drops a level 2 charged item, which is very... not much at all. That's only a power-up item, so you might want to bump him up. And this middle guy... any artifact item. That's perfect. That's fine. He's huge. He's really difficult to kill. And, yeah, I don't think you can give him too much more than that. I think that's kind of okay, in a weird way. It is 36 levels. It's really powerful and hard to do this creep camp. Like, you're going to take some severe losses or really struggle to do it smoothly. And it's going to take a long time. But I think a level 8 permanent artifact item or something like that is really, really powerful. So if you were to drop a lot of items, or at least make this camp seem a little bit more generous than it is, either just knock down like the creeps here, so instead of having like level 6 creeps, knock them down to level 4. So it's just one main guy. And also, I would probably do that again because of what I was saying, which is the issue, which is air. These guys are melee. Make everything ranged, practically. Almost everything. So, let's have a look. The snare casters are fucking annoying, so they're fantastic. So we'll put a couple of snare casters in there. Get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy. Get a couple of healers in there as well. I think the blood gill heals. Yep. So you got a couple of healers, they're ranged. Got a couple of slow guys, they slow you down, they abolish magic, they're ranged. This guy does a lot of damage, he's ranged. These guys, they're ranged. Slow poison, so that works a lot more for me, and it's level 34 in total. So it's not quite as crazy powerful. But you got this big guy. And if you want to go a little bit further, then feel free to give this guy, I don't know, where's your item table? If you were to create item tables, always use the use custom item table set, and then create new set and then new item, and just simply select something like level 2 charged. And that's how you do it. And then they'll spawn that. That's the way I prefer to do it, but we'll stick with your way for now, which is level 2 charged item. But potions and wands is what I want this guy to drop. So put in a couple of shitter items from these guys, since you got the really powerful item. A level 2 permanent item is fine as well. I don't even think you actually have a level 2 permanent item by the looks of it. So we'll go and create one then. And these guys can drop... Nope. I've got to get used to using your one. Level 2 charged, which is the power-up item, which is fine. So level 2, you know, like plus 2 agility or whatever, that kind of thing. So they're basically almost all dropping something. So it's kind of like, at least if you're going to create this camp, you're going to get quite a few goodies, is what I would say. And there's the middle. And that makes it a lot harder for air to go and just cheese it, basically, without being punished. So I like this map. I like the mechanics, I like the style, the artwork. It is quite simple in a lot of ways, but that's mostly because of the design, I would say. It doesn't feel like rugged and lived in. It feels a little bit artificial simply because it's a little bit too symmetrical in certain points. I do go on about symmetrical, there's quite a lot here, but like this bit looks a bit more rugged. But even then, that's not perfect. Which one would I say is the best? I would say this one looks pretty damn good. That ramp is reasonable. It's not freaking gigantic, so that's probably better. You got this little doodad here. The cliffs aren't, you know, they're a little bit rugged again. Is going to be my keyword here. A little bit angular. This narrow entrance point for both the players might be a bit of a problem when you start to get to the point where you've both got 50 plus food armies. Trying to get through here could cause a lot of issues. So just broaden the play areas. So these kind of areas are good because they're large, but then you get these really narrow points where players are just going to get really stuck. So siege will be really strong sitting at the back being untouchable. Look at this little narrow point. It's tiny. So you've got to consider all of these things. Anyway, I think I've gone on long enough, and got nice waterfall action going on at the back here. So this feels a bit more lived in this area. So that kind of thing. Again, creeps just face the middle. I'm not going to do it for every single creep. You get the idea. But generally speaking, pretty damn good. Like, you've got your shops, you've got your laboratories, you've got plenty of expansions, and they're risky expansions, all of them. You might want to make the player expansions a little bit more accessible or closer. So just drag this like over to here or something like that, but still have this kind of water gap, only a little bit, if you wanted to keep them separated. Whereas the middle expansions are definitely a bit more risky. But if the players take it, then they can always drop down towers, which might be interesting for the game meta, but don't want to have it so the towers are too dominant. So you need to consider all of these aspects and give players just a lot of room to maneuver with, because that's what people like the most. Or that's what I like. I like options. Alright then, thank you very much for watching this map review. We'll maybe give it a go, either today or tomorrow, we'll see. And thanks. Bye-bye. Here we go. Let's just do this. It's been spent about 10 minutes in the frickin' lobby trying to get this game started. File Reef, it's being played. I might end up stopping frickin' playing these frickin' maps, I think, and just review them. It is going to be too much bloody hassle to get them done. I don't care whether you didn't get to pick your race or whatever, just frickin' get this going. And away we go. 4 versus 4 RT style, because I don't have the patience for 2 versus 2. I don't think Night Elf can do very easy creeping here, to be honest, so I think it's going to have to be straight up standard-ish. Build archers from your base, and don't think about it too much. Because I don't see how I'm going to be able to Ancient of War creep very easily on this, because the vast majority of it is shallow water, and Ancients can't land there. They can't build here because that would aggro that. And that is miles away for an Ancient. So this is kind of Night Elf unfriendly, but I feel like maybe Mass Hippo Riders will actually kick ass a little bit here. Overall, air should be very strong actually, really looking into this map. You can just bypass a lot of these cliffs, I think. So probably going to be going quite strong in air. And also, the positions have got a little bit balked because we've got one guy over here, one guy over here. So those two are going to have their own little fight. You could militia rush over here and be fine, really. I'm going to go Priestess of the Moon, I think, if I know I'm going to be going a lot of archers. Thank you very much, Firelord, for your host. Okay. So human, I'm alongside Darmonian. Undead imbalance on that side, so that's pretty good. Get those archers pumping. I don't see an early expansion for me just yet, so how many wisps have I got? 5 plus 6. I suppose I should still keep getting more, but I want to get more archers before wisps, and that Moonwell isn't going to build anytime just yet. I definitely need more archers because I can't use the Ancient of War creeping technique. So normally you only need 1 archer for that. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention that you can smooth out the terrain style here and not have this kind of jagged water edges here. I can't remember exactly how to do it without looking at the editor, but that can be done. Okay. We'll just do I don't know the green cams were really particularly worth it, but we'll just do them for now because we're not quite ready to do anything else just yet. No rifles. Mass rifles could be very strong with a Priestess of the Moon supporting. So we'll just easily do these and then maybe move over back to here. Get Darmonian an expo if he really wants one, actually, potentially. I'll give him a bit of wood for it. May as well see if we can get those set out, because we are the two players that can almost definitely get an expansion without too much hassle.
As I thought.
Just some crabs really, so that should be easy enough.
Waiting on you. Leading the way. We must act.
Get the big lad at the back,
Vigilant.
because he's likely to drop the item.
We must act. We are poised to strike. We must
Priestess of the Moon tanking star.
as I thought.
Now the militia are coming in.
For the goddess. Trust in my
What's he going to drop? Replenishment potion. Oh well, not the best.
We are
I'll take that.
poised to strike.
Oh, my Priestess of the Moon.
We can't build on your mark. Trust in my command. Onward. As I thought. The goddess agrees.
Huh.
Onward. Leading the way.
That is one slippery fat pit lord.
We must act.
He really is! Look at him go!
We
How
are
the fuck
poised
was he slipping through half of those gaps? Anyway. What the hell's going on there? Someone's teleporting over?
as I thought. Waiting on you. Strike. We are poised to strike.
Better make sure this expansion is protected.
Leading the way. Trust in my command. I stand ready. Waiting on you. The goddess agrees. On your mark. All too easy. We must act. As I thought.
Fast build it, mate.
We are poised to strike.
Oh, he needs wood.
Trust in my stand ready. We must act.
Okay, let's go get an expansion then.
I am vigilant. Trust in my command. Leading the way. I stand ready. I am vigilant. We are poised
Oh
to
no,
strike.
Rundex is getting pretty
Trust in my command.
iffy.
For the goddess.
Better be some Blade Master action going on there.
We are poised to strike. We must act. We are poised to strike. We must act. Trust in my command.
I'll teach you to be so fat. But he's still got boosted speed, so it doesn't matter.
I am vigilant. Trust in my command. Onward.
Still insanely fast with the boosted speed. How are these guys not attacked each other yet?
Poised to strike. Prepare to be moonstruck. I am vigilant. Goddess agrees. We are poised to strike. I am vigilant. Trust in my command. I am vigilant. As I thought. We are poised to strike. Goddess
They're spreading poison, which is pretty nasty.
We are poised to strike. We must act. Your building is. We are poised to strike. Upgrade finished. We must act. I am vigilant. We must act. Waiting on you. Fair enough. Trust in my command.
I feel like I need to get to a shop really just so I can get Scroller healing. I feel like that'd be a quicker way to heal me than just going back and getting Moonwells.
On your mark. Leading the way. Waiting on you. As I thought. On your mark. Sing. We must act.
Gotta watch out for the Rain of Fire.
Trust in my command. The way. On your mark. Onward. Waiting on your mark. Point the way. We must act. Research. We are poised to strike. The goddess agrees.
Oh shit, there's too many of
We
them.
must act.
And it's undead imbalance.
Trust in my command. Your building.
Ah, just teleport out then. I'm gonna lose everything otherwise.
Onward. Leading the way. Your buildings. We can't build there. I am vigilant. Your building is complete. Onward. As I thought. The goddess waiting on your mark. Onward.
See if I can get one of those slow guys.
We must act on you. Trust in my command. I'm your shooter. Point the way. Our warriors have engaged the enemy. As I thought.
Should really get uproot and ancient and just move towards the middle. I don't know. Bot 3 win is definitely in a tough spot. I hope he's got a town portal. He does. Oh wow! Those creeps are insane.
We must act.
It's been a while since I reviewed this map, so
We are poised to strike. Trust in my command. Your building is complete.
I haven't got a town portal though. So got to be careful of that.
Your building is complete. We are poised to strike. Leading the way. As I thought. Leading the way. As I thought. Trust in my command.
How do we even get? Oh right.
Leading the way. We are poised to strike. I am vigilant. Onward. For the goddess. Research.
Replenishment potion again. No!
We are poised to strike.
No!
I am vigilant.
That's no
Goddess
good.
agrees.
Take your time. Look around. Hello.
Trust in my command. Research finished. As I thought. We are poised to strike. I am vigilant. Onward. Trust in my command. We are poised to strike. Trust in my command.
Damn, they like focusing that poor little guy.
Inventory goddess agrees. Leading the way. Onward.
Nasty attacks going on over here. Bot 3 winning a bit of trouble.
We must act. We are poised to strike. I am vigilant. We are poised to strike. I am vigilant.
Oh, he's attacking. They're over here.
We are poised to strike. Prepare to be moonstruck. I am vigilant. For the goddess.
Oh, the Dreadlord just died to something else. Alright, hello Hassan.
We must act fast.
Oh, well, this is handy. We caught him trying to create this then, didn't we?
Trust in my command. I am vigilant. Our allies' town needs
I think we're okay though.
to strike.
What do you keep needing wood for so much?
Trust in my command. We are poised to strike. As I thought. Leading the way. Town needs help. The goddess agrees. Leading the way. As I thought. Strike.
Did that creep just do a nice stomp there? I think it did.
Our allies' warriors have engaged the enemy. Trust in my command.
And there's the GG. Nice.
We are poised to strike. We must act.
Righto.
Our allies' town needs as I thought. We are
Crown of
poised to
Kings.
strike.
Do you need a help
We must
bot?
act.
See if we can get away with not teleporting over to him.
I am vigilant.
Is there danger?
Trust in my command.
Oh god. Yeah, he definitely needs help.
We must
All the
act.
Huam is doing its job there.
Leading the way.
What's up with the meat wagons? I suppose that was to break through, wasn't it, into the middle.
Poised to strike. Trust in my command. The goddess agrees. Leading the way. We must
Wow,
act.
that's a heavy loss.
We are
Sorry about this bot, but as long as you hang in there.
trust in my command. I am vigilant. We must act. Trust in my command.
Got my other little guy throwing down the ensnares.
Poised to strike. I am vigilant. An ally trust in my command. Your building is complete.
Mass entangle. That's how we do.
We are poised to strike.
Thank you for the frost armor. We're breaking through.
Vigilant. Insufficient training. Waiting on you. You must act. Onward.
What's the deal with the stream keep going offline?
Warriors have engaged. We are poised
Stop
to
that now.
strike.
Calm down, stream.
Our
Calm
allies'
down.
town needs
Leading
help.
the way.
Back off if you can, Darmonian.
The goddess agrees.
If there's an opportunity for you to do so.
We must act.
Not that way though. Down here, fella. Down here.
Well,
We are poised to strike. Research finished. I am vigilant. And allied champions onward. Trust in my command. Our allies' town needs help.
prepare to be moonstruck.
We are poised to strike.
Leading the way. Onward.
Poor keep the grove.
We must act. Our allies' town needs help. We must act. I am vigilant.
For the goddess.
Our trust in my command. Our allies' town needs help. I am vigilant. I stand ready.
Oh, he's out. We left him. We abandoned him for too long. Don't know exactly what's going on over here, but it seems like this fight is really not working in our favour.
Onward.
Insufficient. Our allies' town needs help. Our warriors and allied champions fall.
Leading the way.
Yep, that looks really bad for us.
Onward.
Our turn to the sky.
Trust in my command. As I thought.
Our allies' town
Strike.
needs help. The goddess agrees.
As I thought.
Our turn. Insufficient. I am vigilant. On you. Our warriors
Trust
have
in my
engaged.
command.
Our allies' town needs help. We must act.
Command.
Hold on. We are
Needs more hippo riders.
I am vigilant. We must act. Our allies' town needs help. We are poised to strike. Hold on.
Trust in my command.
I am vigilant. Our allies' town needs help. We are poised to strike.
Nature
Onward.
is restless.
We must act.
Time is
Our
now.
sacred grove is being desecrated. I am vigilant.
Ah, there's the big dragon.
Our allies' town needs help.
Trust in my command.
Our time is
More gold is required. More gold is required. More gold
I am
is
vigilant.
required.
Our allies' town needs
Nature
help.
is
To
restless.
strike. I am vigilant.
Command.
Trust in my command.
Nature is restless.
Our allies' town needs help. Our turn.
Must act.
Your building
Trust in
is
my command.
Your
Our
building
warriors have engaged the enemy.
Is there danger?
away. I am vigilant.
Trust in my
Our
command.
allies' town.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
We must act our time.
Trust in my command.
We must act. Our allies' town needs help. I am vigilant.
Is restless.
Trust in my command.
Our allies' town.
I'm going to make sure I try to take care of the anti-air.
We must act.
Trust in my command.
Our allies' town needs help. We can't build.
Trust in my command.
We must act.
Has that but not even got a teleport? Ouch.
Our time. We can't build
Nature
there.
is restless.
We are poised to strike. Town needs help.
Is there
Your
danger?
mana is depleted. I am
vigilant.
vigilant. We must act. Waiting
Nature
on you.
is restless.
We are poised to strike.
By
We
the
must act.
spirits.
I am vigilant. Our allies' town. We must act. We are poised to strike.
Now,
Waiting on you.
nature
Trust in my
is
command.
restless.
Your
Who threatens the wild?
We are poised to strike.
Nature is
Trust
restless.
in my command.
Our allies'
Oh, no, you
town.
don't.
We must act.
Command me.
I am vigilant. I am vigilant.
Trust in my command.
Is
We
there
must
danger?
act.
Trust in my command.
We must act. I am vigilant. Take wing. We are poised to strike.
Trust in my command. Our warriors have
We are
engaged.
poised to strike. Create more moon.
Trust in my command.
Oh, they're in a very difficult spot there. Tanks are very nice, and the Frostworm imbalance is basically probably coming through quite nicely there too.
We are poised to strike. Our time.
I don't see an expansion up here. Probably an expansion over here and there though.
We must act.
Oh, he's forgotten his town portal, has he?
Your buildings.
Onward.
Our time. We must act.
No expansion up here. That's good.
I am vigilant.
Try and pick off as many of these little guys so I can get my level 6 and then throw down a Starfall,
Research them. Our
which is
goal
going to happen
has
very
been
shortly.
announced. We must act.
Onward.
They might want to try to engage, but I'm not sure how well that's going to work for them. Watch out.
Our warriors have engaged.
We are poised to
There's
strike.
my level
Your
6,
allied champion
but I won't use it
has
just yet.
fallen. We must act.
Nature is restless.
We are poised to
We should
strike.
get the guaranteed kill on the Death Knight, or at least force him back in a second.
Our town.
Ah, there we go.
Trust
Yeah.
in my command.
They've lost too much now at this point. That is the GG. They can throw in the towel, and I'm securing my expansions and my resources.
To strike.
I say we go to one of their main bases now that I've got Starfall.
We are We are poised to strike. I am vigilant. Your building.
Keep the Grove is still miles behind though.
Our time is running. We must act.
Trust in my command.
I'm missing these guys in the middle though, so I've got to be careful of that. But I have got Town Portal.
We must act. Your building.
Trust in my command.
We must act.
Someone's teleporting into this.
Trust in my command.
Okay, I better get back now. That greed is good. Yes, I am alone. I did make that point earlier when everyone went off into the middle for some reason, instead of like pressing the attack whilst I had level 6, but This is not far off my 4 versus 4 RTs, so I am aware of that. I'm a big what's the opposite of fan? I loathe when people sort of just run back a lot for no real particular reason other than to get a tiny bit more health or mana or something like that. It's take the CG opportunity. We just killed like 3 or 4 heroes, and all you need to do is just go support, and then we go and win the game. But obviously, I'm pretty much typically playing solo a lot of the time anyway, so I kind of get used to it. Don't have any bats to deal with. And I should go over here now. We're going to do the solo game. And make sure that he doesn't branch out too many times with an expansion.
Insufficient gold. We are poised to strike. I am vigilant. Trust in my command. The goddess agrees.
An ally
Leading the way.
Fall.
We are poised to strike. I am vigilant.
There we go.
We must act. We are poised to strike. I am vigilant. Trust in my command. We must act. Goddess agrees. Leading the way. Prepare to be moonstruck. Goddess agrees. Onward. Leading the way. Trust in my command.
See you later, Princess of the Moon. Oh well, fuck it.
I must safeguard the land.
I give up on this army over here. That was my bad. Forgot the town portal. Paid the price.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy. Insufficient gold.
By the spirits.
Let's make sure he never asks for wood again.
Have engaged the enemy.
Probably given about 1,500 wood so far this game.
More lumber is required. Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
Shit, Keeper of the Grove has nowhere to run. It's being super cock-blocked. So see you later, Keeper of the Grove.
Our champion has fallen. An allied
Warriors of the
champion
night,
has fallen.
assemble! The goddess we are poised to strike. Trust in my command.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
I am
Our
vigilant.
time is now.
Trust in my command. As I thought. We must act.
I think I'm just going to sit in my base
Trust in
now.
my command.
This is a bit of a
Our sacred
unpleasant
grove
game
is
to
being
play
desecrated.
because it's just so much soloing going on. It's very hard to have any sort of coordination. So I'll just sit here and mass up. Seems to be the best thing to do. If I do anything else, it just goes wrong.
command. I am vigilant.
I stand
Trust
ready
in my
on your
command.
mark.
Research finished. I am vigilant. As I thought. The goddess agrees.
Waiting on you. Waiting on you.
We must act.
Your move.
Your building is complete. I am vigilant. We are poised to strike.
I must
We must
safeguard
act.
them. So shall it
I am
be.
vigilant.
Is there danger?
We are poised to strike.
Who
Onward.
threatens the wild?
To the skies.
We must
Is there
act.
danger?
Our time is now.
I am
Nature
vigilant.
is restless.
We are poised to
Is
strike.
there danger?
Trust in my command.
Waiting on you.
Threatens the
I
wild.
am vigilant. Trust in my command. We
Is
must
there
act.
danger?
I
Our
am
time
vigilant.
The time is now.
I am vigilant.
Threatens the wild.
We must act.
The time
We are
is
poised to
now.
strike. Leading the way. I am
Is there
vigilant.
danger?
As I thought.
Nature is restless.
We are poised to strike.
Command me.
We must act.
Our time is
Threatens the wild.
We are poised to strike. Onward.
Nature is restless.
Trust in my command.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
We are poised to strike.
Insufficient.
We must
gold.
act.
Waiting on you.
I got no gold income now.
Vigilant.
Nature is restless.
Trust in my command.
Threatens the wild.
Our time is
We are poised to strike.
waiting on you.
Is restless.
We must act.
The
Our
time
time
is now.
Trust in my command.
Is there danger?
We are poised to strike. The goddess agrees.
Our time is
As I thought.
research finished.
Trust in my command.
Now.
Our allies' town needs help.
We are poised to strike.
Waiting on you.
We must act. Trust in my command. We must act.
Is restless.
We are poised to strike.
Our
Trust in my
allies' town
command.
needs help.
We must act.
Restless.
We are poised to strike. We must act.
Our time is now.
I am vigilant. We must act.
Threatens the wild.
Trust in my
Our allies' town needs help.
word.
Is
Our
there
time
As I thought. We are poised to strike.
I want to use Starfall, but I'm so far at the back. Fuck it. I'll hit whatever I can reach, which will be quite a lot. This is a really strong position for us right now, like crazy strong. I guess they're getting impatient,
We must act.
and this is the part where they probably lose everything. That's a strong town portal back.
have engaged the enemy. Our time is now.
So shall it
Trust in my command.
Our time is
We must act. I am vigilant. Trust in my command.
an allied champion is spawned.
I am vigilant. We must act. I am vigilant. We must act.
is restless.
We are poised to strike.
Threatens the wild.
Trust in my command.
some heavy nuke going on my Keeper the Grove. See you later, Keeper. I guess that's undead imbalance.
We are poised to strike.
Less undead imbalance though now.
Trust in my command. Onward. I am vigilant. We must act.
Waiting on you.
I am vigilant. I do not act.
Waiting
We
on
must act. I am vigilant.
Send in the tanks.
Trust in my command. We must act. Prepare to be moonstruck. Our warriors are my command.
GG.
We are building this country. We must act. I am vigilant.
Ah, we got there in the end. Bit of a struggle, wasn't it? Undead imbalance all over the place on that map. Too much undead. I think was I the only night elf? Yeah. 17 hero kills. Captain Solo Boy. Well done. Alright, thank you very much guys. And that was exhausting. I'll see you later.